we are now advocating for literal segregation in Victoria.
Yes.
And our Premier, by the way, is backing this.
Look, I think it is wonderful that Jacinta Allen has obviously made amends with all the National Socialist Network guys, and they're now on the same page.
Yeah.
Racism is back, baby.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is like, not that anyone of the progressive persuasion watches, or maybe you do. Who knows?
Who knows? Hate watching.
Hate watching. For 3 hours of us talking about being fisted. Jesus. Okay, so basically what's coming out is the St. Vincent's Hospital Emergency Department has been given a directive to give preferential treatment to Aboriginal patients when they present to ED. So I go in there from a car accident and I'm bleeding out from my bloody carotid valve, I don't know what it...
Your injuries, yes.
Yes, I'm bleeding out. Someone severed my carotid artery in my
Carotid,
throat.
but
Carotid?
yes,
Whatever.
yes.
Shut up. I'm not a doctor.
Yes, neither am I, but I still know it's a carotid artery.
Anyway, so blood's just squirting out everywhere. And then an Aboriginal man walks in. Oh, I've got a headache.
So I don't believe it's quite that
No,
extreme.
I'm being ridiculous.
I don't believe they're going to override basic triage. However, this is exactly how you create a race war. We've talked about this before with the whole...
But hang on. I know that was hyperbole what I said, but... If the directive is the Aboriginal patient, okay, so let's break it down.
At what point? Yeah.
Do they have underwritten sub rules that say, okay, so in this case you do this, but in this case you don't, or in this case you definitely do this. So okay, let's say I was pregnant and I was about to go into labour, and obviously labour can go for hours, days, and then Aboriginal person who looks like me, by the way, but is self-confessed Aboriginal. And, has a broken arm. I'm over here having contractions and squeezing my partner's hand about to pass out. And this person's like, oh, I did a hurties. So who gets
Again, you're being a little unfair, but...
well, hang on. How does this work? How do you determine?
So the fact that colour of skin or racial identification is even considered.
Yeah.
I mean, in my view, it is wrong for any of these forms to ask for that identification. Because the only possible reason that anyone that a hospital would need to know that is if they're going to treat you differently on that basis, and no one should be treated differently on the basis of their race.
So there's a line in here. It has, rightfully so, attracted huge backlash, including from Indigenous leaders, by the way.
Yeah.
Anthony Mundine, obviously,
Warren
Mundine has come out saying that we just want to be treated like everyone else, and now you're doing the opposite. There's a if you're going to have race-based prioritization of care, you're going to basically say to people who are not Aboriginal, hey, don't bother going to that hospital. They're not going to treat you as well.
So I have an idea. Aborigines can have preferential medical treatment, but they can only use the medical treatments that were developed by Aborigines. They have to stick
they didn't
with
even invent the wheel.
They have to stick with their traditional medicine, and then the Western medicine is reserved only for Westerners. Now, in all sincerity, I mean, the National Socialist Network, what's his name, Thomas Sowell, he's going to have a picture of Jacinta Allen up on the wall with Recruiter of the Month award underneath it, because this is how you drive more people. They're going to point to this and say, "See, we told you."
Have I not been warning for months that we are pushing towards a race war? This is how it starts.
It's literally the government pushing us in that direction by literally doing what the racists are saying the government is doing.
Segregate us. Correct.
Right. It's literally like, do you need any more proof?
I need to read part of this article. Okay. So this has got the Victorian Health Minister in there and Jacinta Allen. So I'm just going to read this for context. Asked how the initiative was creating better outcomes for non-Indigenous patients, Miss Allen said improving health in First Nation communities takes pressure off the hospital system. It's been recognised at some point, since we do take a larger number of First Nation patients, that there has been some disadvantage in that Indigenous people haven't been getting treated in the spirit of treating the sickest patients quickest. I don't understand that sentence.
Okay, so I do, but that's a huge accusation she's just made. So what she's alleging in that sentence is that Indigenous people are not being triaged the same as non-Indigenous people.
So she's putting that on the carers themselves. She's saying the doctors and nurses
read it again.
are racist.
Let me hear it again. But as best as I can tell, she's accusing the Victorian health system of having been racist up to this point in time and not giving the same level of care to Indigenous.
That is an outrageous
That is a
accusation.
huge accusation that she should be putting before the courts.
It's been recognised at some point, since we do take a larger number of First Nations patients, that there has been some disadvantage in that Indigenous people haven't been getting treated in that spirit of treating the sickest patients quickest. So that's one hell of an accusation.
That's a massive one. And
what a slap in the face.
And not one that she should be willing to
make, our first responders lightly. And
but it's also
doctors and nurses.
The dismissal of the idea that there might be other factors involved. There might be other reasons why Indigenous people are overrepresented in a hospital. There might be some lifestyle factors. There might be some genetic factors. There might be any one of a number of different things. Well, that's
classic left, just cherry picking data.
It's the same thing as they say, Indigenous people are overrepresented in prison. That's proof of racism in our justice system. Or maybe it's evidence that actually Indigenous people are tending to commit crimes. Maybe that's what that actually is.
I'm going to read the rest of this paragraph because I think this is important. Asked whether hospitals should follow suit, Miss Allen said it was up to the leadership to respond to their own data. Victorian Health Minister Mary Ann Thomas on Wednesday applauded St Vincent's for prioritising Indigenous patients in its emergency department. These are decisions made by clinicians, but St Vincent's is taking some proactive steps in order to close the gap when it comes to the health and wellbeing outcomes for Aboriginal Victorians, which of course are much worse than those of non-Aboriginal Victorians. And I applaud this hospital for taking the actions to meet the needs of the community that they served. This is outrageous. The fact this isn't like...
I mean, I'm just sort of thinking, where does this logic stop? I mean, the health outcomes of hardcore drug addicts are much worse than the health outcomes of non-hardcore drug addicts. So does that mean that they should get priority too?
That's like saying you're a smoker and you chose to smoke. Therefore, we're going to treat this person who got lung cancer just randomly, and you're at the bottom of the list because you chose to smoke.
No, it's the opposite. It's saying smokers are more prone to bad health outcomes, so we're going to prioritize them.
Yeah,
that's literally what they're saying.
This is so bad. Like, I just look at her face. Whoever, I've said this before, whoever her hairdresser is just doing her such a disservice, and I kind of am here for it.
Well, sorry, is that a lady punching down another lady?
No, it's just like. You know? Politicians are always going to be punched down at, but look at her. She looks miserable. Like, I know politics ages people, but this is not someone who in herself is happy and healthy. I said this about K-Rod the other day.
You don't want to have her over to your house for a dinner party.
No.
Yeah.
Like, you look at Niab. Look at Javier.
Yeah.
Look at
Javier. Who doesn't want to have him at their house for a barbecue?
There's an aura, right? There's a light spiritedness of it. Even the new Japanese Prime Minister, there's something
even
about
Nigel
it.
Farage. Like, he's not a physically attractive bloke, but he's got
there's aura.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I look at her and I just think, shit, you have got like so much bad energy around you, and it shows in your face.
Yeah.
This is not me saying she's ugly. I'm saying that her ugliness is the energy that she cultivates around her.
Would you want to swap with her? No. She's self-evidently
what a miserable woman.
Correct. That is the word. She's a miserable woman.
To outwardly say that we need to change the way we triage people when they present to ED based on skin is just utterly outrageous.
Yeah, well, I mean, what she's saying is that we used to be unbalanced, and she's applauding St Vincent's for supposedly closing that gap. Listen, we cannot save people from themselves. We cannot save people from the consequences of their own actions. And what we actually need to do as a society is to become much more hardline about saying, hey, these are the consequences of your actions. And we're not going to save you from them. Listen, I know you have to put up with Carly as well, but aren't I worth it? Just follow for me. Just like and subscribe and share. Just tell everyone about me. Don't mention Carly. Don't tell them that she's there as well. Just kind of like she's the relative that nobody talks about. Like, let's just make a deal. We won't talk about her. Just follow for me. Yeah? Follow, like, subscribe, buy us a coffee. Yeah? Just there. That'd be great. That'd be really appreciated. Because honestly, you try putting up with Carly before you've had coffee in the morning. It's not fun. Thanks.